Good afternoon. It is so beautiful here today. We are having the most perfect fall day out there. The sun's shining. The leaves are past their peak, but there's still a lot of color out there, and it's just beautiful. I'm going to work with snowflakes. So I have my snowflake journal, and what I have is one of the mixed media papers that I do for the cover of the first signature. And on the inside, left-hand side of this page, I have a junk business envelope, one of the wider ones without a window. And we're going to use that on our page today here. First thing we need to do was I took and I added 2 coats of gesso to the outside of our envelope. Now this is open on this side, but when I stitch around it, it will close it up. I'm also going to add some paper over here so that, or maybe, let's see, what size is it? I really don't want to cut it down. I could just take this much off, which I'm going to do. I'm going to even that up. So I got rid of the ratty edge, and I have this spot here that needs a little bit of glue on it to close it up. So I'll just use the art glitter glue and just add a little bit right there on that corner. This corner has a bigger flap that needs some glue on it. So as I stated, I have already coated it with 2 coats of gesso. When I stitch around it, that will close up this side, but I need to open up the top side because I want to use that for a pocket down in there. So I'm going to just take the scissors and I'm just going to cut off just a sliver, just enough to open that up. Just like that. So now we'll have a pocket here. All right. The next thing I want to do is add some color to this and then choose some background paper. We have so many pretty different ones here. This one has a lot of color on it. No, too much for this background to have that much color on it. So we might just go with a plain piece of mulberry paper. And let's see, we're going to use some of this pink. So we'll take this and just tear a piece off. Yep, that's how you work. Like that. Cut this or tear this down to size. I love the frayed edges on the mulberry paper. Now, if you want this to be an exact tear when you tear it, then just wet it with your paintbrush and it'll pull apart just like a napkin will. Okay, so there, we want that on there. Add some real pretty texture. Around the outside of it, though, we need to add some stamping. I have this stamp by Morning, I want to say Star. Yes, Morning Star. And it is number 913-268-5264. I think that's their phone number. Maybe this stamp doesn't have a number. Anyhow, what I want to do with this is I'm going to put my page aside for now. I am going to use some Versamark and silver embossing powder, and I'm going to stamp all along the edges of that. So the stamp is a hymn that's called Silent Night, Holy Night, and we all know that one. And this is Versamark ink, just like I had stated. I'm doing just the edge because we're not going to, although I do think we will see it through our paper. So I'll do the edge and then I'm going to do the whole piece. So where did our stamp end up? It looks like about there. Do this corner and then we'll do the whole rest of the page. Try not to overlap, but yet wanting to make sure I get the whole thing. When we put the powder on, it's going to tell us how well we did with that. So here's our silver embossing powder. So it's not perfect, but last I knew I wasn't striving for perfection. So I will go emboss this and be right back. So very pretty. So now we'll add, and yes, you do see through it just a little bit. So I'm glad I did the whole thing. I want to add this pink mulberry paper on top, and I'll do that with my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. I have this piece of ephemera from our kit, and I want to add that there. And then down below here, I want to add some lace or possibly some of my ruffle. Let's do ruffle and lace maybe. So let's cut that. And then just to be sure that this does not start fraying, I add just a little bit of glue to that thread there so that it won't fray apart on us. The one that I'm using right away, I don't have to worry so much about because I'm going to put glue along that whole stitched line. But the one that I'm not using right away, I need to add something to it. So I have the ruffle. Now I want to add some lace. So I got this pillow sham, I guess it is, at one of my thrift stores. And I want to cut off some of this lace, the bottom behind, and I want to use a piece of that on this envelope. So it's a shame to cut this up, but that's what I bought it for, so here we go. So I have this, and I want to take it and put it behind that, our ruffle. Cut that down to size, and then put our ruffle right on there. How pretty is that? Let's move it down so we can see the lace above and below the ruffle, like that. What a beautiful envelope this is turning out to be. So let's put, does it really need any more? I mean, we can go overboard. We can add lots and lots and lots more to this, or we can let the simple beauty of it all just shine through. I think I'll just maybe add one of these tags that says Winter Trail on it. It's a ticket, sorry, not a tag. And maybe put that like either up here or I think maybe, oh, how about right on our ruffle like that. This one edge needs a little bit more of our ink on it, and then I cut that edge. So that goes real pretty, just like right there. I have this piece of pink from our project from yesterday, this little scrap, and I think I'll put that right behind that ticket like that. Okay, now I'm very happy with the front of this. So let me get this glued down. Since I am going to stitch around it, I'm just going to glue like maybe on this part here where it will hold the glue better. Put that down, and I'm going to use my art glitter, and that will hold this in place. I've glued it right here where there's more substantial stitching to hold our glue. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to add some glue to the back of our ruffle right along the stitching line. I will use for that Fabric Fusion. I am gluing fabric to fabric, so I'm guessing this would be the best choice for glue for this. And just a stream of it. Oops, sorry, I probably have my head in my way, in your way. I was trying to get close. And just below, like this, we'll take our piece of stitched mulberry paper, add some Fabric Fusion to that, and glue that on top of our ruffle, and then glue our little ticket right on top of that. You have to take the lid off the glue in order for it to work, right? Okay, now I'm going to go stitch down the two long sides and across the bottom. I'll be right back. My next step is I need to add some ink along the outside edge of the envelope. Oh yeah, that just finishes it right off. And on top, I want to cut a thumb hole and then ink that up also. On the back, I have also gone ahead and done the stamping and embossing with a silver ink with a Silent Night stamp. So our front is finished. I'm very content with the front. We have a nice pocket here that we need to add a tag to. So we have to create a tag. I've been using cardstocks to create our tags with, and I have a piece of blue that I want to use. So I need to cut that down, and I want to make it probably right about, it needs to go in from the stitching there. So I'll cut that down. Made that 5 inches. Let's see if it's going to fit. Might have to go 4 3/4. It fits, but it catches, so we're going to go 4 3/4. That should slide in there nice and easy now. Just like that. Okay, so let's decorate our tag. This is going to go around the whole thing with our Distress Oxide Vintage Photo ink, front and back. And then we're going to stamp our lines, our journaling lines on the back of the side. This is blue cardstock that I had applied gesso to. There we go. And now we need to decorate this side. So we want to make it so it matches our envelope that we have created. So we're going to use some of the mulberry paper again. Let's just add some snowflakes on this with the stencil. And I'm thinking, let's give it a try with blue on blue and see how that turns out. We'll do one and see what we think. Yes, absolutely. We want to get it around the outside edge because that's what's going to be showing the most. There we go. It's pretty. And then glue down our mulberry paper again with Yoo-Hoo glue. This time I want to stamp some snowflakes with an embossed in silver on top of this. So I'm going to use my snowflake stamp. I stamped my stamp with Versamark ink and embossed in silver, and the stamp is PSX, which I know they're out of business, and it's E2732. That's the snowflake stamp. Any snowflake stamp that you have will work. So I have the cover now, and we have birds over here. Do I have anything more with birds? I think I want to put an angel on here. Let's see if we have an angel with a bird. Okay, so that's a bit surprising. I would have expected like several angels with birds. So let's just find one that will match. Okay, so there's my choices, and I think these are all too dark. I think I want to go with that one. A little boy. There we go. How cute is that, right? And let's see. It needs more. It has to have something more. I want to be sure I can get it down in my pocket quite easily. And if I add lace on the bottom, it's going to catch. But what if we added lace on the top? So we have some of this lace, and maybe if I cut it, let's see. On this piece that I cut that off from, there is some lace that is nearer, and I think what we're going to do is snip off a piece of that and use that for the top, like that. Oh yes. So let's cut that down to size, and we're going to use that on top. That way it's going to match our envelope. And we did have some ruffle on here, kind of thinking that it would be a little too much for the tag, so we're going to stick with just this. Like that. Yes, I like that. We could add a piece of the pink mulberry paper. No, because that's already on there. Get another ticket or something and put on there. I have this angel verse that could be kind of nice on there. So that's good. And if we glue this down tightly, we could add a snowflake there. But I'm thinking maybe a white snowflake would be better, or just a silver one. We'll go with a silver one. And then that looks pretty cool. That'll make a nice journaling tag inside our big envelope here. So I'll glue these down, and I'm going to use my glitter glue and put them up about here. And then we'll take our angel quote, our angel definition, it's not a quote, and add that down in the right corner of our angel. And then glue on our chipboard snowflake, right there. Journaling on the back. We got to glue down lace at the top with our Fabric Fusion. So with our lace at the top like this, we won't need a tag tab up here. Journaling room on the back. We could cut this so that it's even. And then on the back side, we also want to add a snowflake or two. We're going to go ahead with our blue ink. And I think one snowflake will do just fine. Well, maybe just one coming in off the edge up here. There we go. That completes our tag. So for the back of our pocket, we'll set our tag aside for now and let that dry. And oh, when this dries up here, because I did add quite a bit of glue, I'll wait for that to dry, then I'll stitch around it. We need to do something on the back. I have stamped with the Silent Night stamp and embossed in silver, but I'm thinking instead of adhering it to our page, I'm just going to clip it on with a paper clip so it can come on and off, and then this whole area then can be used for journaling. Because of that, we need to do something to the back of our page. We could just do some collage work like what we did on the front, or we could add a pocket with another tag. Let's see, we could add a notepad. And now a notepad would be quite interesting to add to this. We wouldn't want to make it too bulky, but we could add several pages. I have 2 pages of 8.5 by 11 coffee stain copy paper, and I cut them in half. And then when I laid them on my pocket, I seen they were the same width. So then I took another 1/4 of an inch off. So these are going to make 4, well, they'll make 8 front and back pages for a paper pad that we will attach. I think we'll just attach it to this element. I think that would be a good thing. We can't sew across it to attach it though, because we've already sewn the envelope shut. Now, if we were thinking ahead, we could have, before we sewed this shut, we could have sewn on our paper pad. It really does pay to think ahead on these projects, and a lot of times I get caught up in not doing that. So we have our paper, and I want to go around the edge of all of these with my vintage photo ink. I want to use a piece of blue cardstock that I've used for the tag for in our envelope as a header on our paper pad. So I've cut it to size and inking around it. Now I will take this over to the sewing machine, and I'll make a stitch line all the way across the top through all of the layers here. I have that stitched, and to attach it to our envelope, I'm really regretting sewing that shut, but it is what it is, and I really have decided that I want this to be on this. So I'm going to just take and put some glue on the back side, like maybe 1.5 inches, or I'm going to put a decent amount of glue on there, and I'm going to use the tacky glue. I have changed my mind. I am going to use the 3-in-1 glue because I'm gluing onto embossing, and sometimes that's hard to get anything to stick to. So we'll just use this glue. I have the glue on there, and I'm going to put it below the thumb hole in between all the stitching and press that down good. If you're playing along and you've also embossed and you're having a hard time getting it to stick, then what I would suggest is taking some clamps and clamping this down for like maybe half an hour or so, just like this, and just clamping it down, and that will make sure that you get a good bond between the two. But I think I've got it. Now we need to decorate up that. I did not stitch after I decorated it because I already have enough layers with the paper and then the cardstock up here that I didn't want to do more. So I'm saving the decorating until now, and let's see what we can put on there. We have this piece of ephemera, and I think that is beautiful. Let's add maybe a piece of lace across there, some of that narrower lace. And then that will match our tag too. We could put it below the stitching line or right above. Let's just cut this. So I'm going to add that with some of my fabric tack. And then we'll put our piece of ephemera right up underneath our lace to the edge. And we're only going to glue onto the cardstock, not onto the coffee stained paper. So I only want my glue to come down to about that far. And I can use my glitter glue for this. We have our little bridge. How cute is that? Let's pull it down just a little. Boy, that glue sticks fast. Guess we're not pulling it down. Maybe our fabric tack glue is not stuck yet. We'll pull that up a little. There we go. I'm happier now. So I think that's cool. Let's just add a little stenciled snowflake to each of these pages. We don't have to go crazy with it. It can be real light, and it can be in different areas on our page. There we go. So we pulled the snowflakes in. That makes a nice paper pad. So we have a big junk mail envelope with a pocket, with a paper pad on the back, and with a large tag that will slide down inside, just like this. And we can slide it as far as, slide it right down. What's holding me up here? There we go. Slide it right down so that it stops with our lace over top like that. How cute is that, guys? And our paper pad. Lots of journaling space. We didn't waste any of our journaling space here. We will attach this with a paper clip. And again, I am out of the bigger paper clips still. I'll just add the small one for now. There we go. It's another page in our Snowflakes journal. And this is the cover to one of the signatures. So it will look something like that. Thank you for watching. Again, it's a beautiful day out there. I am going to take advantage of that now, and I'm going to go out and go for a walk. We don't know how many more nice days like this we'll get this year, so we need to take advantage of it when we can. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this project and will make one for your own journal. You have a wonderful day, and we shall see you again soon. Hugs. Bye now.